And now, tonight's production of the Jaywalker Christmas Adventure, featuring Caleb, Alejandro, and Shin. So, okay, just to preface this takes place in 2016. That'll make sense later.
That'll make sense later.
At the end of the story. I should also probably make sure that this is actually facing the exact right way.
Sorry.
It wasn't quite. You guys can lean in so that you're actually visible. Okay. Yeah, you see that. Where's my hit me up with that water bottle.
That water bottle.
You know, Jaywalker does take a lot out of me.
There's
the one
four.
that's half drinking because I already drank some of it.
Oh, can you win? Just because.
Yeah, it's enough.
Thanks.
Yeah. And now, the Jaywalker Christmas Adventure. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and I knew something was off. The usual Christmas cheer wasn't around. No carolers, no church bells. Heck, there wasn't even snow on the ground. I knew I had to do something, and I had an idea of where to start. I was gonna head to the mall and see Santa to get to the bottom of this. I had to figure this out. It was time to get festive. I was Jaywalker, and I was gonna save Christmas. I walked to the mall, seeing more evidence of my suspicions. Lights were off, trees were still undecorated, and still no snow. The first thing I saw that had anything to do with Christmas was Santa at the mall. He was still there. I approached him slowly, as again something seemed off. "Dear Santa, this year I want answers," I said. But then I noticed his beard straps. He was a fake. He saw the change in my face and knew the gig was up. He grabbed a large candy cane from his set, pulling out of the pile of fake snow. I could see it was sharpened to a point, like all candy canes get eventually. Though this one looked lethal. Fake Santa prepared to charge. I readied my lead pipe. As Santa Claus charged, Santa Claus was getting ready to go to town. We clashed, going cane to pipe. We made numerous jabs at each other, but each of us dodged the others. Our battle wrecked the set in the mall, and people started looking panicked. No doubt mall security would be here soon. I had to finish this badass of an imposter off fast. I kept dodging, trying to come up with a plan. Then it hit me. His hands were almost certainly stuck to the candy cane after holding onto it for so long. He ran at me, and of course, I dodged out of the way. This time, grabbing the candy cane, my intuition was correct, as I flung the cane along with the imposter Santa into the wall, ending the battle. I walked over to the dazed, red-coated imposter and held him up against the wall. "Who do you work for?" I yelled. "Naughty. You may have defeated me, but you can never defeat my comrades." I shook him, trying to get more information, but he had passed out. I left the mall as fast as I could. Mall security tried to follow, but I lost them pretty quickly. I went and attempted to research Naughty, but the results were much certainly different than what I expected. I pondered the rest of the situation. Had he said anything else that could be a clue? Of course, I thought. Comrade. I knew where I needed to go. It was time to go to Russia. Maybe a good time to go see my old friend, Ivan, who might know something about this. So I booked a flight to Russia and headed straight to good old Ivan. I trekked through the deep woods. Ivan's town was pretty isolated. I fought my way through bear after bear, and soon I broke through the tree line. Ivan's town was so bland in Soviet glory. Also, in the Jaywalker universe, there are parts of Russia that are still Soviet Russia. So it's a thing. I could see that even from behind the wall, that all the buildings were dull and samey. I waited for the secret police to pass, and made a break for it. I jumped the wall. I ran towards Ivan's housing unit, avoiding sight of anyone, not wanting to be seen by the secret police. I broke into Ivan's house as I usually did. Through his back window, and found him, as usual, passed out in the standard issue chair in front of the standard issue TV, watching his old standard issue programs, with his classic standard issue vodka in hand. I walked around carefully and found some water. I got ready to dump it on him, but I had forgotten one critical detail. In Soviet Russia, bucket of water dumps you. I slammed into him, and the bucket of water fell to the ground, making the floor all soaking wet. Ivan slowly opened his eyes before me and yelled,
Cacoceretta!
as he shoved me off.
What are you doing here? Give me a reason I shouldn't kick you out.
I reached into the bag that I had brought along and pulled out some vodka, non-standard issue. His eyes lit up. Now that I have your attention, I need your help, I said, brandishing the bottle. I need to track down an organization known as Naughty. One of their agents used a touch of Russian lingo, so I thought here might not be a bad place to start.
Never heard of it. I guess I might help you. Let me sober up a bit.
A little while later, after Ivan was slightly more attentive, we got down to talking. We decided we would head north, because the North Pole wasn't too far off, and get to the bottom of it, since we had no idea where we could find this Naughty. We set off into the forest. We needed to get to a real road, which inconveniently was nowhere near Ivan's Soviet settlement. We had a few more miles when we saw a snowmobile heading straight for us. They spotted us and opened fire, sending small missiles at us. We got behind tree cover and readied our weapons. My lead pipe and handgun, and Ivan's empty vodka bottle, and his Makarov. Ivan charged in, dodging missiles along the way. He dove toward the driver, and his gun fired him as it does in Soviet Russia, propelling him like a bullet towards the driver, punching them off with severe force. The driver hit the ground, and Ivan charged, trying to finish them off. But to both of our surprise, an explosion emanating from the driver's kick in defense rocked the forest, sending Ivan backwards into a tree. It was time for me to go to back Ivan up. The attacker began firing a volley of missiles from their feet, ripping apart many of the trees and most of the cover. I jumped out, dodging a couple missiles. With a narrow margin, I dove through a wall of fire, singeing my clothes, landing a punch, knocking them back. I began laying down some cover fire so that Ivan could get back up and retaliate. Each shot was blown away as soon as I shot it with some very small missiles. Ivan was up, still a bit dazed, but at least he wasn't out of the fight. Now his primal Russian rage was in full force, as we were still in his homeland. Ivan charged in, missiles dodging around him, as in Soviet Russia, missiles dodge you. He got to the assailant and let loose, getting fired fist first towards his enemy. The driver struggled, unable to kick Ivan off with their missile-laden feet. Ivan's assault was relentless, pummeling the enemy to the ground. Ivan's opponent passed out. After many extra punches, we strung the attacker up and prepared to interrogate them when they woke up. The now subdued attacker woke up. They looked dazed, now with their helmet off. She spit at us, in spite of her defeat. "Who are you? And are you with Naughty?" I shouted.
Marie Mistletoe.
She said in a thick French accent, before again trying to spit at us.
What if I do work for them?
Where are they based? And what have they done to Christmas? I shot back.
As if I would tell you, you are nothing but a nonsense, a nuisance,
nuisance.
and I was sent from my homeland to kill you, and though I may not have succeeded yet, I have not yet failed either.
And then Marie screamed.
Atomic mistletoe.
Like many times before, she conjured a missile out of her foot. However, this time, the payload was an atomic bomb. And it took longer. We scrambled, trying to figure out what to do. But it seemed hopeless. Ivan then had an epiphany. And Marie was grabbing me and trying to hold on to Marie. "What the hell are you doing, Ivan? Are you trying to be the first one to die?" I shouted.
We're still in Russia, which means chance still has us.
"You don't mean."
I do.
Then it hit me. I should have known. In Soviet Russia, missile launches you. We launched, flying a couple miles up and away. We could see the nuke going off in the distance, a mushroom cloud forming. We celebrated for a brief moment before realizing the ensuing velocity. Luckily, American physics didn't apply to Ivan, but I was not so lucky. I only had a handful of moments to come up with a solution. A way to stop before pancaking into the ground. Ivan jumped off the now unconscious Marie and began being fired upwards, slow as descent. I balanced myself, standing on our fallen enemy, and our fallen and free falling enemy. Just trying to figure out what to do. I had to overcome a velocity of roughly 180 miles per hour. I didn't have much on me, my gun, and Ivan's reward, the vodka, and the lead pipe. What can I do with these things? I asked myself. Then it hit me. I could use Ivan's vodka reward, funneled through lead pipe, and ignite the stream of the gun. Well, with my gun, propelling me upwards. But I had to do it just the right time in order to use the propulsion to avoid hitting the ground. The ground was fast approaching. I readied my gun and got ready to pour the vodka. The time was right. I flipped and fired. After we landed, I apologized to Ivan, as his vodka was now gone. He left annoyed and began walking back. Before he did, he gave me a piece of paper that he said that Marie had had. Thank you. I started analyzing the situation. Her homeland. Does she mean France? So with that, I made my way to the nearest town and stole a Russian helicopter. I flew into France. Luckily, it was not too long. The day before Christmas, that had been was fleeting, and I only had about 12 hours. 12 hours to save Christmas. I got in a taxi and paid the driver extra, and we were quickly at my friend's house. He was a world-famous chef, for both his soup and suplexes. Oh shoot! I forgot that he suplexes people, but not in this story. His name was Paul Pascal Puree, and he was going to help me figure this out. Knocking on the door, I heard shuffling. Paul opened the door, looking surprised.
Oh, what are you doing here, Monsieur Walker?
I need translation. The fate of Christmas depends on it, I said frantically, giving him the note.
Come, sit in. Let me grab you some soup, and you can tell me what's going on.
Puree said, gesturing for me to sit down. I tried to protest, but soon he had me sitting at the table with some French onion soup. Something's wrong, Paul. Haven't you noticed the lack of Christmas cheer? Almost no one is actually ready for Christmas. Let me ask you something. Are you ready for Christmas dinner? Have you prepared anything for your family? I explained. To a mouth-dropping Paul.
You're right. What will my family say?
Puree sputtered. They probably won't even notice anything is wrong, I said, further showing the problem of the situation, which is why I need your help. I have a note from the people behind the seasonal sabotage, but it's in French, and I have no idea what it says, or where in France they could be. Paul looked over the note.
They may be French, but a slightly different kind of French. Not French. Not based in France either. They're French-Canadian.
Oh, you got more lines.
This Naughty, as you know, is the nefarious agency of ununified grief harbingers towards Yule, is trying to destroy Christmas money, Sir Walker.
I need to go. Now. Any idea where in Quebec?
Oh, it will appear that there's some coordinates. Here, let me translate them.
When he finished, I ripped the note from his hands. Thanks for the soup, and Merry Christmas. I then yelled, running out of the door. I stole a car and drove to the airport as fast as I could. I blazed through security, knocking out the guards with lead pipe. There was no time for a normal flight. I stole a plane and took off, flying full throttle as fast as I could. Though it would still eat up most of my remaining time to get to Quebec across the Atlantic. I was almost to Quebec when a missile flew by my plane. I saw a blockade of ships appearing on the horizon. A second sea-to-air missile flew by. Then I realized what was happening. Jay Walker, you're entering Canadian airspace, eh? Said a voice over the radio. Please turn back or we'll have to take drastic measures, eh? Those first two missiles were warning shots, buddy. So please return the Canadian courtesy by turning around right now, eh? I said. Alright, whoops, I didn't say that. That was the Canadian guy over the radio, like it said. I should have known that Naughty would use their contacts in their homeland to get La Migre de Canada to help them take care of a common enemy. I saw a third missile heading towards me, and took evasive action, dodging, but only into a fourth missile, crippling my right wing. I prepared for a collision course with one of their carriers, grabbed a parachute, and prepared to jump out. of the door of my plane. I dove out of the plane and continued falling towards the carrier that my plane soon made contact with. I pulled the chute for a low opening. I couldn't be targeted upon landing. So I couldn't be targeted. And upon landing, I began wreaking havoc on the deck of the now damaged ship and burning carrier. I got in a helicopter and took off, just in time as the fire reached the ship's fuel reserves, removing the ship from the equation. I flew evading rockets from other ships and opening fire on a few of them into my path, with the front-mounted gun on the helicopter. I reached the shore, with a dozen La Migra de Canada ships either burning or destroyed in my wake. I flew towards the location that had been outlined in the note. Even before I got close, I knew it could only be another trap. An RPG hit the back of my helicopter, so I bailed out, as the helicopter spun out of control and crashed through the roof of a warehouse. I crashed through the roof of a warehouse. A bunch of cardboard boxes broke my fall. I got up and got my bearings. The location I had been given was in the next warehouse. I looked up to see two guards break down the door to the warehouse I was in. The guards let loose with AK-47s. I returned fire with my handgun, getting behind some cover, and taking out one of them in the process. I dove to another spot, trying to fire, but I was out of ammo. I was cornered. No weapon but lead pipe. Lead pipe that was all I needed, though. I charged in. I charged the remaining guard, blocking shots with lead pipe before slamming it into his head, knocking him out. I picked up the AK-47 and walked out of the warehouse, only met with more guards. Now with the AK, I gunned down the majority, rushing in and meleeing the remainder. I walked over to the door, which I would face. I walked over to the door through which I would face my final challenge in saving Christmas. And now, I only had an hour before Christmas Day. I busted down the door to face a flurry of bullets. I gunned down the three guards that had been waiting. I surveyed the warehouse, and I saw some sort of glass tube holding some sort of energy, a ton of weapons, and a caged Santa. I ran over to Santa to make sure he was okay. Before I got there, I heard a voice.
I can't believe you made it this far, Jay Walker, but I'm sorry to say your journey ends here.
The voice chuckled. Who the hell are you? Why are you even doing this? I inquired.
You wouldn't understand, Jay Walker. Christmas ruined my life. It all began years ago. Back in grade school, everything was fine until the Christmas season. My name is Noel Avere, and that's pronounced No, thank you very much. As soon as Christmas came around, everyone just started calling me Noel. No, they wouldn't stop. Noel, they wouldn't stop. From that point on, the rest of the year, even the next year, it was Noel. I switched schools, but it only fixed the problem until Christmas. So now, since Christmas has ruined my life, I'll ruin it for everyone else. I've kidnapped Santa and removed the memory of Christmas from most of the world. Though there were a few exceptions like you who still remembered. I gathered a force of Christmas haters and others with unfortunate names like mine, such as Mary Mistletoe, who you may be familiar with.
So just because people mix up your name because it's similar to a Christmas-related word, you are trying to destroy Christmas?
You know what? I'm done talking to you, Jay. I've been trying to kill you all day. Maybe it's time that I just take care of that matter myself.
Noel pulled out a sword, painted black and red, either trying to be the opposite of a candy cane, or just trying to be edgy. The two of us charged, clashing in the middle of the room. Each attempted to slash and block each other, neither of us landing a hit. He made a break for a table and grabbed a fruitcake. Seeking an opportunity, I ran at him, falling right into his trap. He held up the fruitcake, blocking lead pipe, which sank in and got stuck, and then grabbed me and stabbed me with the knife, what would have been used to cut the fruitcake. I fell over.
You really thought you could win, didn't you? You came pretty far. You noticed the missing holiday. You figured out that there was a plot behind it. You beat Mistletoe. Hell, you even made it past La Mira de Canada. But in the end, not a damn thing mattered.
Noel Avare walked towards me. I stumbled to get up, but he kicked me in the face, and I fell back to the floor.
Christmas is done for Jay. All the cheer, all the joy, it all turns to powder, dust, and then melts away just like snow. Pretty soon, not even the ones who made it past my attempt to wipe it all to wipe it from all memory, won't even remember.
You're wrong, I protested, coughing up blood. The feeling of joy will never fade. Christmas won't go away just because you bottle up all the spirit of the day.
Look at yourself, on the floor, withering in pain, just spouting nonsense. Go ahead and die already.
Wreck the halls with powers of brawling.
Excuse me?
'Tis the season to be jolly.
Can't even sing your damn songs right. I guess the memories are fading already.
Don, we now are slaying apparel.
What are you even doing, Jay?
Troll the ancient Yuletide carol.
You know, I actually had respect for you as an opponent, Jay, but now I don't even know.
See the blazing fool before us.
Seriously, cut it out, you lunatic.
Strike the harp and join the chorus. This is pretty metal, actually.
Shut yourself up before I...
Tra la 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 la, sang a voice in a thick Russian accent as an explosion shook the warehouse and blew a hole in the wall. Ivan stepped through the wreckage, but he wasn't alone. I saw numerous badasses stroll in. Paul Puree, Janet the janitor, Sandman the gravity wizard, Michael the cat wrangler, Gary Laser, Jupiter, Kylie Kickflip, Bill Bombshell, just to name a few. The remainder of Noel's guards filed into the room, seeing the commotion and prepare for a battle. I stood up, grabbed a lead pipe, taking a bite out of the fruitcake before spitting it out. Luckily, it was enough to free my lead pipe from the free lead pipe from the gross prison. I'm gonna hit you so hard it'll send you as far back as the first Noel. I stared, dead at Noel. The ensuing battle was visible from the International Space Station, and it would become the biggest badass battle seen at this point in the decade. The amount of badasses released a large amount of energy, making the fateful city in Quebec look like a shining star. Ivan led the charge, taking out several guards. I soon joined the fray with renewed strength, fighting Noel. He had no more dirty tricks left up his sleeve, and I was relentless, landing several hits in no similarity to our first class. I continued swinging, most blocked by his sword. I wound up and hit his sword so hard that it shattered. He fell to the ground. The gig is up, Noel. The last of your allies are about to be defeated as we speak. I told you, you couldn't stop Christmas. The feelings of fellowship and family surrounding it did not fade, as you can see from my friends surrounding us. I said, his last guard flying over my head into a wall.
You and your friends may have noticed it, but the rest of the world won't. I still won.
Noel shot back. But then Santa yelled,
Not so fast. You still have a chance, Jay. Break the cylinder before midnight, and things will return to normal, and Christmas cheer will be back.
I checked my watch. 1 minute until Christmas. Ivan, get Santa out of the cage and figure out where Noel has the sleigh. I said. I walked towards the tube and swung the lead pipe, shattering it and returning Christmas spirit to the world. Instantly, I heard church bells in the distance. Walking outside, I saw snow falling. Some pretty hardcore carolers were even down the street, braving the explosions and the sounds of carnage that had just occurred. As Christmas Day arrived, we saw Santa and his sleigh streaking off into the sky. So, what do we do now? I asked the assembled forces of friends around me. Pierre clapped his hands, and his sous chefs and the rest of his staff filed out of a van they had been waiting in, food in hand. We scrambled together some tables and prepared for dinner. Some of my friends' families even showed up. Others didn't, though in reality, regardless of blood relatives being there, they were all family. We had a grand feast until we heard sirens. I calmed everyone down and told them to stay seated and got up to deal with it. Jay Walker, you're under arrest for terrorism and crossing the border illegally, eh? They said as they cuffed me. They walked to the police car along with Noel, who they had found knocked out. Until in the distance, we saw a light. The light got closer, and it became apparent that it was a helicopter. It came overhead, and a rope dropped down, and out of the helicopter descended the president himself, Barack Obama, as this was still 2016.
Gentlemen, sorry about the mix-up. This man is international hero.
Obama said.
I've talked
Oh yeah. I don't know why I have
I talked to Trudeau. Jay is free to go.
I was freed, and Obama and I walked inside.
Next time you have a shindig like this, you need to invite me. And Joe too.
A party?
No, since you saved me all those years ago, I've trained. Though you might want to be more careful. I'm not in the office for much longer. The next guy probably is not going to be as forgiving to me when it comes to these kind of excursions.
We sat down and continued the feast, and had a great Christmas. I got up from the table, and looked at all my friends before me. Merry Christmas to all of you, and to all of you, a good early morning. Yeah. That was good. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. From new content. Yeah.